Guys, what's up? I really try to be on time. Sorry, we're a little late. What is up, everybody? Happy Monday, Happy New Year. I haven't went live since New Year, right? Happy New Year. I'm not sure. Happy New Year if I have or haven't. How is everybody doing tonight? I'm waiting on Kara and Dee Dee. Well, Kara's here. Never mind. I'm waiting on Dee Dee. Hello, hi. We're talking about episode 12. We got back from a 2-week vacation. Oh, Dee Dee's here too. Okay, let's go. Oh, and guys, I haven't forgotten. We're still doing the 90 Day Fiance trivia game this week. I was supposed to do it last week. I know you guys know that.
Hi.
But we are still doing that. Hello, hi.
How
are you? How is everyone? I know, Dee Dee, I just talked to you, but how are you, Kara?
I'm good. We went live since New Year.
We did? Okay, good. We did. Okay, I'm all out.
Didn't we?
Oh, but you know what? Yeah, the single life. Yes, we did. Yeah. We did. That was on.
Yeah, but we're back. This is our first night back for the 90 days.
Yes.
Yeah. You're right. Because we were back on New Year's Day for the single life, and we'll be back tomorrow for the single life.
We will.
But and 90 Day Diaries is coming on after the single life, so we're gonna be talking about that too. Because everybody who's been gone for like ever, they're on there. And you know, David and Annie's show hasn't been filming, but they're back on Diaries. So we're going to get some David and Annie. I don't know what's going on with them because last time we saw them, they were talking about having a baby. So I don't know if they're still talking about that or not. But on this episode, the OG 90 Day Fiance, episode 12, did y'all realize we're 12 episodes in? I didn't realize that. I don't know how many episodes we're getting. Because normally 12 to 15, right? It feels
like we're at 100 right now.
Well,
but the way they talking is like, the way they're talking is like, it's getting close to the end. How they were talking tonight.
Nobody got married yet, right?
No, but I mean the way they were talking tonight is like we're getting close to the end, though. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I feel like we're all the way at episode 12, and I think 14 to 15 is like the end. So we got to see Ashley and Manuel get married because they've already leaked the pictures of her at her wedding and him.
Yeah,
know they got married. Yeah, we know. We've seen it. So they can keep all this BS going. We know what's going on. We saw the pictures. We know what's going on. All right, so I want to talk about a little bit. Well, where do y'all want to start? Because at first, I wanted to talk about Jasmine and Gino first because we found out that Gino in his mid-50s wants to have a kid. And is this kind of the first we're hearing about this? Because he hasn't really talked about it.
He's talked about it before. He's talked about it before.
He said it last season.
Oh, he said it last season. And what was Jasmine's reaction? I don't remember.
Nope.
No, she was not having a baby.
That's what I thought. So now it kind of seems like she wants to make him happy. I don't know. Like, I feel like she has 2 kids and she wants to bring both of her kids over here already. So that will be 3 kids. You know, Gino is going to be working. You know, he's a career man.
It's going to be bullshit. She'll find some bullshit excuse, just like the fact that she's hiding half of her ass in Dane's wallet. She's going to find some bullshit excuse why she can't have a baby or couldn't get pregnant or had a miscarriage or something. She'll think of some bullshit.
Well, she's saying because her son, JC, I believe his name, was born with special needs, he's nonverbal. And that's what's scary. Because she's scared that she could have another child who would also need that type of care. But I don't know. I feel like those are such random things, right? Because it's...
I'm not trying to knock her as a parent, but if you have a kid that has special needs, number one, you don't bail to a different country in hopes that you can bring them later.
Yeah.
And number two, if you're going to have another baby, who gives a shit if your first kid has special needs? You still love that kid just as much.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter if you have another kid.
Well, that's what Gino said. Gino was like, it's still a human being. It's still going to be our baby, and we're going to take care of that kid as long as he needs. And, you know, I think that there's been testing, like there's testing lately where people can tell if a pregnancy is going to be a high risk or there's going to be special needs. And then people have been advised to end the pregnancy and stuff. And I think that it's making a lot of people a lot less, what's the word, tolerant of having a child that needs a little extra care, because this is still a human being. It's still a child. And regardless of if your child is born, you know, what does she kept saying? Neurotypical, right? Regardless, you're going to love that child regardless, whether it's verbal or not, you know? So I don't know, that whole situation was interesting to me because she was blaming herself, but you know, it's so many different factors that go into those things. It's usually some sort of weird, strange gene that pops up every 5 generations. You know, you can never ever pinpoint, you know, that. So when you have a child, you just have to know that you want to have a child and you're gonna love it regardless. And I would hate for her to decide not to have more kids just for that reason.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know. It was an interesting conversation because I was like, why would Gino wait so long to have kids? Because he's in his mid-50s. So we've had this conversation before. So when this child is graduating high school, Gino will be pushing 70, right?
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I feel like that's such a long time to wait. But again, David and Annie are in this situation too, where Annie is not even 30 years old yet.
Yeah.
She definitely wants kids, and David is looking at it like, I don't want no kids. My daughter has a daughter. You know, like that is way past where I want to be in life. So these are things that people really need to work out early in the relationship, because at this point, she's already in America. She already needs to bring her kids over here. She already needs so much done. And now they're just having this serious conversation. But honestly, 2 kids, one with special needs, I feel like that's enough on her plate, right? Like, I don't know if she has the time and energy to go through that. Oh yeah, Kenny too. Kenny is, how old is Kenny? 61?
He's something like that. But
yeah, you're right, Coco. Kenny is in that situation too, where, good man, you know, like,
stuck on the fact that she left her kids behind. I realize she's trying to bring them over, but my kids are grown, and I wouldn't leave the country and leave them behind.
But you know what's weird to me? She said that she shares custody with her dad. I don't know many dads that are okay with you taking their children out of the country. Like, how is that going to work? I don't know many, because you remember we were in that situation with Rachel and John, right? Because Rachel had a child with a man here in the U.S., and there was no chance he was letting his daughter leave the country. So I was confused because she's like, oh, yeah, we're going to bring them over, and I share custody. I was like, well, if you share custody, that means that he's present in their life, and he's not going to want to not be present.
I'm pretty sure Jasmine said that there's going to be some money in it for him.
Oh, so you think there'll be like...
Said that? When did she say that? She said it.
No, I didn't say she said it. I said I'm pretty sure she said that to him.
Oh, yeah.
She's going to say whatever she thinks she needs to say to get him over here, get the kids over here.
I'm not letting nobody have my kids. My kids aren't for sale. Like, I don't care what you offer me. No, there's no chance.
She probably said she'd pay him back for her left ass cheek.
I mean, that's already a loan. That's what she owes him anyway. I'm curious because shared custody means that the dad is involved, and that means they usually have to go to court and fight for that, you know, because usually judges like to just give it straight to the mom. So I don't know. I don't see how he's just going to sign a paper and let her take his over to another country. Like, I just don't see that happening.
I'm pretty sure with it being Jasmine, there's money involved some way, somehow.
Oh, Coco
Especially if any of these judges have watched this crazy bitch on TV. Like, you're gonna have the kids.
Well, Coco says maybe 6 months here, 6 months there. That's really hard on a child. Yeah. How do they even go to school? Because you can't even a school year is longer than that. I think that would be the worst possible thing to put a child through. Divorce is hard enough, but then making them switch schools in the middle of the school year every single year, I feel like that would be hell for a child. Children need normalcy and stability, and
especially, they need in a different country where they don't even speak the language.
Well, yeah, and I felt like she had these conversations with Mossey pretty early on. Remember, like, earlier in the season, she's like, are you okay with moving to the U.S.? Is his dad okay? You know, like, I don't know. I feel like you shouldn't even bring up things like that to children unless it's set and it's really going to happen, because I feel like you should never build up a child's expectation for something and then let it fall through. Yeah. You know, because children don't understand legalities. They don't understand family court judge decision. Yeah. They don't understand that. They just know you said you were going to do something and you didn't do it. That's all they understand. So I really was shocked that she even brought it up to him before they even knew, because technically they haven't even filed the paperwork yet, because she's not married yet. And she had already put it in his head that it was going to happen. Yeah. It's a mess. Donna said no chance in hell, and her kids are grown. No chance. she still wouldn't do it. Okay.
Me neither.
So
Me neither.
Sophie's mom, Claire, has arrived in Inglewood, and everybody was saying, how was she going to fit in the car? Because it looked like they were going to the airport to pick her up. She took an Uber to the hotel. they were going to meet her at the hotel, which is probably the best idea because, you know, she would have destroyed his car too.
Yeah.
Like Claire came in blazing, right? She came in with guns drawn. She was ready to attack him. And I don't know how I feel because I didn't feel like Claire said anything that was false. I do feel like there was years, and especially the last 10 months, where Rob could have prepared more to receive Sophie. And Sophie was like, oh, well, I said, hey, it's getting closer and closer to the time that I'm going to come here. Would you get a job? And he kept saying, oh, I'll get one. I'll get one. I'll get one. Boom. He still doesn't have one. And it's like, I feel like Rob gets super defensive when anybody calls out his lifestyle and things that he could be doing better. And I know, I know it's hard to be criticized, but you have to, as a man, you have to be able to take criticism. You know, I feel like that's part of life, not just as a man, as a woman too. Like as a human being, you need to be able to take criticism, constructive criticism. That's how you become better. And I feel like he's not, deep down, he's not okay with the way his life turned out, but he pretends like he's totally fine with it because he's like, oh, this is fine, you know, for me as a single man figuring out my life. And I'm like, bro, you're 32. When are you gonna figure it out? Like not, and it is. I gotta say this: it is 100% fine for him to live there and try to figure out his life. Don't bring anybody else into it.
Phil, I have so many unanswered questions. So the mom said everything I want to know. I mean, she said everything I wanted to say. Like, you're a piece of shit. Get off your ass. Get a job. What is this? Is this a tent? Is this a homeless? She said everything I wanted to say. But how the hell? He literally said, I have nobody to help me. I can't just get help. Yeah. But he doesn't have a freaking job. How is he sponsoring her?
Oh, see, that I don't know either because it's almost been a full year, I think, since he's had a job when she arrived. Yeah. So
well, we were talking about this a couple of weeks ago. Remember about him working? That he probably had a good job whenever he filed, and then once he got approved, that's probably when he quit work.
Yeah, but so you still have to prove your income?
I don't know. See, these are really good questions because you would think up until the approval process, they would periodically check. But I know when you buy a house, you just have to prove everything at the time of your processing of your application. Like technically, once you're approved, you could not be working. They're not checking anything.
If you look at Gino and Jasmine, he quit. But
right before she arrived, he quit. So it's like I don't think that they're periodically checking.
Gino's got,
but he's got $1 billion.
He's got $1 million in the bank, so he can show.
He can quit.
He can show statement and say, "I'm good." You know, here's the money I'm going to support her, and you know he's got proof. What does Rob have? Like,
unless Rob got $1 million, we don't know about.
I'm going to go ahead and put. I'm gonna put $1 million on it that Rob doesn't have $1 million. I'm just gonna put it out there. Yep. I'm positive he doesn't, and I don't know. I feel like his preparation for her coming is kind of like how he looks at his life. He's just like, we'll figure it out as it happens, and I feel like that's the worst possible planning for your life. You can never go through life without a plan or at least some sort of detailed generalization of the path you're gonna go in, because he was like, oh, this is fine up until we can find something else. But I'm thinking, if you're not working now, finding something else is literally impossible because any place that you apply to live at wants to see proof of income. So it's not just because he's like, oh, a month or two to figure it out. It's not a month or two because you have to find a job, start getting checks, and then you can actually start applying. And who's to say his credit is even good? You know, because they're going to run your credit. It's not just if you have the money. Like, getting a place to live is way more complicated than just showing somebody some money on a piece of paper. Yep. And I feel like he never thinks past what he's doing right now. And I feel like that's probably how he ended up, you know, in his life where it is at that moment. Obviously, I know he's driving a really nice truck right now. If you guys follow him on Instagram, he has a really nice Jeep. He seems to be living in a place with indoor bathrooms and plumbing. So he's doing better now. I just don't.
So he got paid from TLC. That's that. Now what?
Do you think that's all he did? Do you think he actually has a job? Because he keeps saying on Instagram that he has a job.
He said he had a job all along. And then today we find out he's never had a job.
Not for like
the whole time
that whole year. Yeah, it's crazy to me. And, you know, I'm not saying that it's easy to get a job. I'm not going to sit up there and lie and say that anybody can go get a job and it's fast because, you know, the economy and the recession and we're in everything. But when you have somebody especially somebody that he described, his words, as a spoiled human being who's used to the finer things in life. If you know that this person is coming to live with you, I think that it would be in your best interest to at least give her acceptable conditions. I'm not saying that you need to move into the Taj Mahal, okay? Like, I'm just saying you need to give her acceptable conditions. Acceptable conditions, even if you were in a homeless shelter, there are indoor bathrooms, okay? Like, let's just be real. There are indoor bathrooms. And the way that Claire reacted to that apartment, I felt was spot on. Yep. Every concern, because I was like, I want to be mad at her, but I'm like, where's the lie? I don't see no lie. Yep. She's asking valid questions. And she's saying valid things. Like, you should have planned better. This is unacceptable for both of you. Like, it's what you do with your life is your business, right? You can live anywhere. You can live in a cardboard box. That's on you. When you're bringing other people into your situation, that's when it gets complicated, because she's a mother, right? Because I was talking to someone as the show was airing, and I was like, as a mother, would you react the same way? And they were like, hell yeah. They're like, that's my kid. I'm going to want to know that my kid is being taken care of. And they're like, not that I think that a man is supposed to take care of a woman, but in this particular situation, he signed paperwork saying he would. So it's not necessarily that she's a damsel in distress. It's more so he signed paperwork that said he was going to take care of her. And then when she got there, she's peeing outside. That's the issue.
Right.
Well, as all I got to say is, if I were to walk up in a place that my daughter was living with a man like that, I would have beat him down to the ground, and I would have shown him how to treat a woman, and then I would have got my daughter's crap, and we would have got up out of there. Because they ain't no man. I don't care. My daughter is very independent. She's a very independent person. She knows what her self-worth is. And that's how, but this is what I'm seeing with Sophie. I don't think Sophie realizes her self-worth. You know, because anyone else that would walk, or even walk into an apartment, if I were dating someone and they tell me that they're going to have me living, you know, at least a decent lifestyle, and I walk into that apartment, I mean, come on, that is a punch in the face and a kick in the balls. Come on. And laugh in his face, turn around and walk out. Are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah. But also look at David and Sheila. David's he's literally working 3 jobs, and Sheila's not high maintenance. He's working
not at all. You're right. You're actually, see, that's very true. He's doing everything that he can. He paid for her mother's funeral. Yep. You know, he's doing everything that he can to make her life better. And I feel like Rob is doing absolutely nothing to accommodate her. And it's not necessarily to even make Sophie's life better. Sophie has a great life on her own. You know, but oh wait, I want to ask y'all a question. Rob said, he was like, y'all don't know what it's like to struggle and have to do everything on your own and be independent. So he didn't really respect their opinion. How do you feel about that statement?
I mean, I get that statement. If you've never been at the bottom, you don't know what it's like to build your way to the top. But also, he doesn't know her mom's life. He knows the bits and pieces Sophie said. So he was very blind to say that, in my opinion.
I felt like he didn't have enough background information. Like, Sophie made her life seem like, when she was telling us in the beginning on the first episode, that it was great. But then she also told us that she was estranged from most of her family and did work jobs herself and did take care of herself. She said growing up, things were easy. Yeah. But I try not to judge people based on how their life looks, because Instagram and life are 2 different things, right? There's people who can perpetrate a really good life and they are struggling, and vice versa. Yeah. So I try not to judge people. And then there's people who worked an amazing job and then that company went under, or somebody from that company was doing wire fraud. You know, there's all these different things, and their whole life could completely change. And you remember them, you know, driving an Escalade and the Maldives, but their life isn't like that anymore. So I hate to judge people based on one section or one part of their life and say, oh, you don't know what it's like to struggle. You know, because I know what it's like to struggle. I grew up very, very, very poor. Like, it's funny because this story is kind of personal for me, because in the house that I grew up as a kid, we didn't have plumbing. Like, there was no bathrooms that worked. There were bathrooms, but the plumbing didn't work. So when I saw that their bathrooms were outside and everything, I was like, I really understand how Sophie feels, but I also feel like Rob should have done better to provide. she's not asking him to go out and work 3 jobs. You know, like David, she's just asking him to get one. You know, she's just asking him to plan for a future together. That's all she's asking him to do. And I feel like that's not even asking that much. Like, if I'm going to come somewhere and I can't work, I can't take care of myself, I can't help you, you would have to work a little bit of overtime until, you know, that situation can be rectified. And I feel like he didn't do anything.
Yeah.
He hasn't even tried to give her the bare minimum.
No.
I mean,
And
nothing.
when she asks for the bare minimum, he get pissed off. Like, she's not even asking for Chanel. But y'all remember Anfisa? Soon as Anfisa got here, she was like, I'm going to need a Chanel bag, a Louis bag, $10,000 per month allowance. I'm going to need a big ass house. I'm going to need, this is literally, she asked for, yes, Donna, a $30 duvet. This is all she asked for. And a bathroom indoors. And he was like, you are a spoiled, disgusting human being. And you need to learn that that's not how life goes. Life literally goes this way. I don't know very many people that don't pee indoors. Like,
right.
she's not asking for anything crazy. Like, and I feel like he also tries to make her feel bad for asking for necessities. He wants her to feel like, you shouldn't even be asking me. But she should be asking you because you brought her over here under the impression that you were going to take care of her. Like, I don't know. He rubbed me the wrong way.
Did you watch Pillow Talk last week? Or whatever week where Kim and Jamal were talking about the day? And
I did.
Jamal was spot on when he's like, so he can't get her a $30 comforter. But then he says, although the way Sophie talks, a duvet sounds expensive.
It does. It does. There's a lot of talk on Twitter. People were like, what's a duvet? What do those cost? And then when people posted pictures like of how much they cost, like $20 at Kohl's, people were like, oh, it is true. When in her accent, though, we have to say, when she asks for things, it does sound really expensive.
Well,
because it's just her accent.
Really, in her soul, she doesn't really want a duvet, like something from Kohl's. She wants something from Macy's. She wants it goose down, and it has to be genuine, and it's imported from Italy. That's what she wants.
Yeah, I mean,
but she'll settle for the $20 one at Kohl's.
Well, yeah, at that point, she was like, well, look, at this point, I'll take the $20 one, but, you know, in the future, a year from now, I am going to want the one from Macy's. And I mean, when you pick a high-maintenance woman, you know, like Gino picked Jasmine, right? He picked a high-maintenance woman. He's not going to get away with the Kohl's version of anything. Jasmine is not going to accept that. And I feel like a lot of men, George did this with Anfisa. He picked a high-maintenance woman. He lured her over here and then was like, well, I don't actually have any money to give you. That's fucking fraud. That's fraud, okay? Like, that is literally frauding someone. That is literally a crime in my book. That's luring someone to you under false pretenses and committing fraud. He told her that he was going to give her like $5,000 a week allowance. And then when she gets there, he's like, I don't actually have like more than like a couple of $100 to give you. That is complete fraud. He didn't
give her $100 a week. I mean, he was broke.
Yeah.
But at least she had an indoor bathroom.
She did. She did. She had an indoor bathroom that she didn't even have to share with him, I don't think. I think she had her own. She put him in the guest bathroom, if I remember correctly. Like, he did give her basic necessities, right? And this whole thing with Rob and not giving her basic living necessities, it just pisses me off.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know why he thinks that he can get defensive towards anyone who calls out his bullshit. Because it's like, people are not lying to you, they're not picking on you. Because he's like, oh, she says disrespectful things. It's like, but the truth can't be disrespectful. The truth is just the truth. It might sting, but it's not disrespectful. The truth can sting a lot when it's said out loud because you don't like the way it sounds, but it doesn't make it any less true. You're a deadbeat, bro. Yeah. Like, you brought her over here and you can't take care of her. What do you think her mom is going to say? I've never met a mom who was like, oh, yeah, I'm so glad my daughter's with this deadbeat who doesn't take care of her and she's sleeping on dirty-ass sheets that has dog pissed on. I've never met a mom who was cool that I've to this day, never met one.
And cockroaches everywhere.
I mean, and he was bracing himself. It's so funny because she was like, are you excited that my mom's coming? He's like, yeah. Like, he knew what was coming. He knew it. It's like, if you know that your behavior is so disturbing, that you know the idea of someone seeing the way that you have her living is going to bring a problem, that should be enough fire underneath you to change. Yeah. Right? No one can call you a loser if you're not a loser. No one can call you a deadbeat if you're not deadbeat. Because if they do, it wouldn't bother you because you know it's not true. it bothers him because he knows that these words are true. And the truth can really be a good motivation, but for Rob, it's just a way for him to yell at people.
Yeah. I agree. I can't wait.
All right, so let's jump on the Sam and Citra train, right? So Citra said that she's totally fine with Sam possibly going to jail because she said, I waited 2 years to get approved for this visa, so I want to be with you. That was such a weird thing to say. Did y'all read that the way I read it? Because I was like, she basically said, well, I'm stuck with you now because my visa is in process. I can't just walk away now. Is that what y'all got, or did you get something else? She didn't.
I'm staying here regardless because all I want is my green card.
That's what I heard. Okay, that's what I heard. Because she said it like, well, I'm here and I waited 2 years, so I got to wait it out. And I didn't feel like that was very convincing. But Citra hasn't been super convincing this whole time that she loves Sam or whatever. And the fact that we know that Sam's brother is now engaged to Citra's sister, it just makes you question the whole situation. Like, because, you know, the sister hasn't arrived yet. So in the little bit of time that the sister did arrive in the future episodes, Sam's brother has fallen in love with her and now they're engaged. And so now there's 2 green cards floating around, right? So it's a super interesting story. So Citra said that her dad could possibly make her go back to Indonesia when he finds out about Sam's record, which is pretty controlling. You know, she's a grown adult woman, but I'm going to throw this out there. I don't know many dads who are like, oh yeah, you should, you know, stay over here with this guy who's going to be in prison, you know, for God knows how long. You'll be totally fine. I don't know any dad who's going to hop back on the plane and be like, I hope you figure it out, sweetheart. I'm going to go back home. Like, I don't know any dad who would be cool with it. Yeah, green card palooza, Donna. I feel like that's what it is. It's like, you know that video of Oprah and she's like giving everybody cars? Like, you get a car, you get a car. I feel like it's you get a green card, you get a green card, you get a green card. Everybody's just getting a green card from Sam's family.
Yeah.
Seems like an arranged green card marriage. Yeah, that is what it seems like. It's very interesting that the sister shows up and happens to fall in love with the first person she sees.
Yep.
Like, it's just interesting in my book. And I'm waiting to see there's 2 things I want to see. So Sam's mom met Citra and she was very respectful, which I think that a lot of moms aren't always respectful. You know, we watch Clear destroy Rob.
Can we please ask why her name got to be Dee Dee? Like, that's my name.
Oh, yeah, her name was Dee Dee. I mean, that's
my
a popular
name.
name.
Nobody else can have my name. That's my name.
I mean,
well, you also are sharing it.
Hold on. Technically, it's my middle name.
Wait, it's your middle name? Seriously?
Yes.
I didn't know that. And you guys are sharing the name with the world's worst mother ever, Dee Dee Blanchard, too. So this is not a good year for Dee Dee's. Yeah. Right? That, like, Dee Dee's are getting dragged through the mud.
I like that, guys. I'm a nice person.
Like, Dee Dee's are getting dragged through the mud, and I am so sorry, because that is not fair. Y'all are getting dragged right now, and it is unfair. I know a lot of Dee Dee's, so I know they're all struggling right now.
It's funny because you literally look at my username every day.
Oh, wait, Cara D. You're right. I didn't put the 2 and 2 together. Get out of here. That's crazy. My co-hosts both name her Dee Dee. That's crazy. I'm gonna have to tweet that. That's crazy. I didn't even realize that. So.
Oh my gosh! When I seen that, I was like, "Whoa, wait a minute, hold up."
So
I'm only Dee Dee. Nobody can have my name.
I was thinking the same thing.
Oh, I know what I wanted to ask you guys. When it comes to spicy foods, so Citra likes spicy foods, and Indonesian food is very spicy. And Sam said that it's hard for him to eat. What kind of food do y'all like? Y'all know I was raised in Louisiana. Even our bread was spicy, so I like spicy. Do you like spicy food?
So
habanero spicy.
Oh, not that hot. No, not that
I
hot.
love it spicy.
Really?
Yeah, but Dee Dee, we're talking about food, not men.
That's true, Dee Dee. We're not talking about
habanero. She likes her food jalapeno spicy.
That is how Dee Dee would describe the men in her life, habanero, right? Isn't that what you would use?
Yes.
Yes, spicy.
That's about right.
Oh my God.
Sam's mom is pissed off at the fact that he needs to convert to be a Muslim so they can get married. I'm not mad at her feelings. You know, I agree with Dee Dee because I think that you shouldn't have to change who you are or change your religion to be with someone, but it is part of the condition that she's over there, that he made that promise. So once you make the promise, you're kind of obligated, you know, because she said to his mom, she's like, I'd never talk to him again if he didn't go through with what he said. So I do feel like it's ridiculous that you need to change your religion to be with someone. I feel like you can be two different religions and still be married and work fine. I think people are taking religion too far. But at this point, I don't know if Dee Dee showing up to their wedding is a good idea, because she's made it very clear that she don't like anything about that religion. So I don't know. In the back of my mind, I was like, hope they don't invite her. And then in the other side of my mind, I'm like, I can't wait to see her destroy this wedding. Right? Is that how y'all felt? Like, I can't wait to see her throwing things and screaming. Right? That's exactly like, just like she's going to be like Angela. I'm an American. I'm an American. That's what I can see in my mind.
The only thing I want to see more of this family is the grandma.
Oh my God, I love the grandma. I'm obsessed with her.
Yeah, grandma's sweet.
She's adorable.
I love her. And one more thing. So Sam said that in the last decade, he hasn't been close with his mom. And then recently, now that he's on TV, she's back in the picture. Did anybody catch that? That kind of pissed me off. I don't like the opportunist type people. So I don't know if that's the case. I don't know where the hell she's been. I think she said she was in one of the Carolinas or whatever. I don't know if her moving back, because she had just moved into that house, has anything to do with him being on TV or not. But I really, really hate to see the situation where people pop back into their kids' lives right around time things start to change for the better. Like a TV camera or a new job, or they won the $1 million Powerball, and then all of a sudden, mom and dad's on. But I don't like that at all. It rubs me the wrong way.
I don't like that either.
I don't know if that's the case, though. I don't know. But the way that he described it, he's like, we haven't had a good relationship in the last 10 years. We haven't really spoken. Then all of a sudden, you're on TV and you happen to be showing up to her house with cameras, national TV cameras. It rubbed me a little weird. So we're going to have to wait and see how that turns out.
Yep.
All right. So Nikki and Igor were back. And apparently Igor, I like to call him Justin Igor. So Justin Igor was saying to Nikki that he had two, what does he call them? Sex friends? Is that what he says?
He was literally fishing for an acceptable number.
Well, yeah, because he was like, two. And I was like, so do we need to add a 1 in front of the 2 or a 0 behind the 2? Because I was like, that's clearly a lie, right? Like, he was looking.
That is totally a lie. Only 2 women? Come on. Well, seriously?
How do you feel about him saying, well, let's do it together? Because the first thing that came to my mind, it took her like a whole week to convince you to have sex with her, but now you want her to have sex with you and someone else? So I'm confused. Like, what does he really want? Is she really the sugar mama?
Because he's going back to, remember, I've always said this from the get-go. I keep saying it over and over again. He don't look at her as a woman. He looks at her as a man.
Yep.
So in his mind, he's thinking it's going to be 2 men with a woman.
Yep. 100%.
He did say that she's very masculine in the relationship. He keeps saying that to Ivan. He's like, oh, well, it's her masculine side. She's too demanding. She demands sex. And I was like, at first I was on Justin Igor's side. I thought that she was hounding him. But at this point, I kind of feel like she wants him to have sex with her just to prove that he's not having sex with somebody else. Is that how you feel? Like, at this point, I think that she just wants him to do it because she's pretty sure he's doing it with somebody. Well, she knows now he's doing it with other people. And somebody on Twitter said, well, a threesome with Justin and Nikki and another woman would just be Justin and the other woman and Nikki watching, because he doesn't want to be with her. So
I agree.
And it's like, why isn't Nikki on a plane back to New Jersey? There's no reason to be there. There's no relationship. He's using you. You've given him a life that he never would have been able to have on his own, and he's gotten everything out of it.
Nikki hit the nail on the head with the hammer whenever she said, you are using me as a sugar mama and getting sex from other women.
Yep.
100%.
She already knows the answer. So why is she still around?
I don't know.
He doesn't, he probably loves her, but he still can't see her as a woman because now he only sees her as a man. And it's crazy because before she even said anything, he's seen her as a woman. But now he can't see her as a woman. He sees her as a man. But she already knows that is all he wants is the money that she's giving him.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep. She needs to run.
I wanted her back on the next plane smoking out of there because I was like, you know what's going on. This man is using you. And I thought about it. I was like, she's like that rich aunt that gives you a check every year. You don't want to do nothing with her, but you want that check every year. And I was like, that's how Justin Igor looks at her. It's not sexual at all. She's improving his life, making things better for him, and he tolerates her in whatever way that he can to keep the money flowing. And sex is not something that he's willing to tolerate. He might kiss her, he might FaceTime call her, he might say I love you, but sex is off the table. And instead of just being honest, because he knows that's gonna actually stop the money from coming in, he's leading her on. And I think at this point it's been 17 years. You know, we all know what's going on here. We all know what's going on here. He is using her. And the fact that he's asking her to have threesomes when he doesn't even want to have sex with her, I think in his mind, he's like, I could have my cake and eat it too. I could make her happy and get her to stop nagging me. No, and then I could have...
For him, he's going to have sex with the other woman and make her watch.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's exactly what when he's asking for a three-way, he's asking for permission to have sex with the women he's already had sex with.
Because we all know he don't want to have sex with her. I mean,
he kind of insinuated that when he suggested it. He said, basically, so I can show you how easy it is for me to have sex with a woman with no feelings.
I caught that too. Because he was like, I want to show you how easy it is. And I was like, but the whole trip, you've been trying to make her see how hard it is for you to do this with her. So I was like, you're basically saying you could have sex with literally any woman that you meet. It's just Nikki you don't want to have sex with. That's exactly what he was saying. And yet, here we are.
She's still here. And how does he know that these women that he's had sex with isn't trans as well?
Yeah, he doesn't.
Well, true. He doesn't know that.
Because there's some trans that unless they tell you they trans, you would never know.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if you guys watch the TV show Pose. It's a show has a lot of trans women on the show. Beautiful women. Like if you were watching this show, because I remember I turned it on and they were like, oh, all of these are trans women. They all have different careers or whatever. You would have had to pay me to believe that any of these women were trans. They were so beautiful, like flawlessly beautiful. So it's called Pose. Pose, right? Yeah. The Diva Speaks. That was a really good show. It ended unfortunately, but man, if you've ever watched that show, you know for a fact there's absolutely no way unless somebody tells you. There's no chance that you would ever know. Like there are women that are just look like straight up fell out of the sky from heaven, beautiful, that were born a man. You'll never freaking know.
Is it just me, or does Nikki's mom look 10 years younger than Nikki?
Yeah, she does. She does. I saw it too. I saw it today.
I was because like, of all that plastic surgery Nikki's got.
Yeah.
Nikki should have stopped whenever she was ahead. I mean, she's done way too much. Way too much.
When she was known for being $1 Million Barbie, you know, we actually, I've seen pictures of Nikki way before. This is years and years ago. She was like in news stories because all of the money she spent on plastic surgery. And I remember seeing her back then and she was beautiful. I'm not going to say she's not, but she looked so natural, right? Like she had a natural look to her back then. And then she took it, you know, farther and farther. And now she just looks she looks plastic, right? Like that's the best way to put it. She's very plastic. She doesn't look natural anymore. And unfortunately she lost that. And, you know, we seen it with Darcy and Stacey. Yeah. You know, you take it too far. And I think that filters is really what is hurting people. I think when people use these filters, they want to make themselves look like these unrealistic filters on the apps. And unfortunately, you know, I think that it's an addiction and people are too obsessed with becoming a filter and they want to look like that. And surgery doesn't, I mean, it does make you look like that, but in regular everyday life, that looks strange. Like you end up looking strange because you're not supposed to look like the filter. You're supposed to look normal, but they take it too far.
Right.
I seen Stacey the other day with no filter. I was like, what am I looking at? Like, oh my gosh, she went way overboard.
I read it was in the hospital,
way
actually.
Wait,
yeah, she was in the hospital, but they took pictures of her with no filter, no makeup, no nothing.
Yeah.
It showed her legit face, and to see her legit face up against the pictures that her and Darcy be taking, hands down, it's filter.
Oh yeah.
Everything.
what was she in the hospital for? I missed this.
It
I don't
didn't
know.
say. It just said
What-
that she that she was
She's
in the
okay
hospital.
though, right? Everything good? Oh,
I
okay,
don't know.
okay.
It just said she was hospitalized.
I gotta ask around. I didn't know. This is crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about that. That's crazy. Okay, so I want to jump over to Ashley and Manuel because, hey, Kimberly, hey, Bestie. I want to jump over to Ashley and Manuel because we were watching them. Ashley brought over Manuel's childhood friend who also happens to be in New York. You know, his family, his friends, everybody seems to have a plan to get to New York. Questionable, right? I'm not saying nothing. I'm just saying it's very interesting that they all managed to get over, you know, over there on their own fruition. I guess I don't know. They've all figured it out. But Manuel is getting bothered by the excessive spending of Americans, and I think that where he comes from, he said he has 4 pair of pants and 4 or 5 shirts, like period, to his name, and he said that he doesn't need any more. And then I hate to be like this, but I kind of relate to him because he has like the poor man mindset. And I grew up in the hood, in the ghetto, and we didn't have very much money. We didn't have food. We didn't have our car was really loud, sound like a lawnmower. Like, so I know what it's like to have what you need and nothing else.
Mhm.
And, you know, I was really happy growing up. I didn't know what it was like to have excess stuff.
Yep.
So now it's really interesting when I go about my life, when I go shopping and do things, I have poor man syndrome. Like, I always look at the price of things. And I always haggle prices, like when I buy cars and stuff. I still have the mindset of a poor person because it never leaves
Right.
you. You know, even if your life changes and you're doing better and you have a good education, a good job, it never leaves you. And I think Will Smith talked about this years back too. He was like, I have more money than I could ever spend. He's like, but when I go shopping, when I buy a couch, I look at the price. He's like, because that's just, I know what it's like to not have. So when Manuel was explaining, like, you don't know what it's like to never have anything. And I was like, I kind of understand. You know, when you come from such humble beginnings and you have to stick together, because when you come from a family where y'all have nothing, you have to stick together and look out for each other. So I tad bit understood, you know, how he felt, and adapting to that is difficult. But we found out that Ashley sent 2 payments, 1 per month, to his family, and he feels like that's not enough. So I want to get your reactions of that. Do you think that 1 payment a month is unacceptable? Because she looked at it as, y'all are lucky to get anything out of me. You're not my family.
Absolutely.
So, like, how do you guys feel about that?
Pack his shit up and send him home.
Really? Like, because
I'm so like, I'm done with these people, but I want to punch him in the face.
is it because he is entitled to her money? I feel like he's entitled to her money, and I feel like because he said that she says that I'm lucky and that hurts me. And I was like, bro, you are lucky.
Yep.
Based on the life that you were living and based on the life that you're living today, you're lucky. Yep. And that's not a hurtful or nasty thing to say. He's in a much better situation than he was in back in Ecuador. Yep. And I don't know why he takes it as an insult. Why is he insulted by that statement?
Because he's an idiot.
They are both idiots.
They
and okay, she's a witch, but she don't know none of this is going to happen.
Yep.
Like, come on. Can we please get the false witch off TV? I mean, she's fake. She's not a witch. I mean,
if she was a witch, she would have cast a spell for him to stay in love with her. I feel
if
like
she was a witch, she would have done everything to make him like. She's not a witch. She's not a whatever it is. This other word y'all be using in English. This mild word. I can't even remember what y'all be using. She ain't none of that.
Oh, well, she says witches aren't psychics, but they can still see things, right? Oh, wait, witches cast love spells. So wait,
no,
witches
can tell your past, your present, your future, everything.
Yeah,
and they can do things too.
Yeah. Oh, she said you can't change free will. Oh, okay. So I think
you can change free will. It just comes with a cost. You can change it.
Oh, okay. well, don't do nothing to me. I'm scared. Oh yeah, just like Kimberly as a clairvoyant. Yeah. Well, yeah, people are just throwing these words around half the time, right? Oh wait, you're a witch for real? There's a witch in here. I did. Okay. Hi. I apologize if I offended you. Hi.
You can do free will, but it comes with a cost. You will pay for it.
So when we were watching the preview for next week, we saw that they were fighting, and Manuel's like, I'm not apologizing to her, I didn't do anything wrong. And instead of handling their issue, they went into the bathroom of the restaurant to have sex. So I'm just trying to understand, like, why they are both like 17-year-old morons. Like, why do they think that all problems are solved by sex? You have to actually solve your problems. You're gonna hate each other tomorrow if you hated each other today. Yep. Like, I'm trying to understand who raised her to believe that you just ignore your problems and have sex all the time and then everything is gonna be okay. Like, it never crossed her mind that it's weird that his whole family was here already and then he happened to come over there too, the same state and everything. Like, none of this was premeditated. Like, it never started to dawn on her that this was weird, because it's looking weird to me. Like, not just his family, even his friends are over here and they're all in New York, and he just happened to land in New York where she is. Like, this is too coincidental for me.
Yeah, it's just I can't with these.
Oh, she says, I'm assuming the sex is the magic. Oh, so that's like a spell. It's her attempt to combine their energy so they'll be synchronized. Well, it's not working. He hates her.
It's not working at all.
He literally can't stand her. Every time she starts talking, the look on his face is so disgusted. Yeah. Like, he cannot stand her. Like, I don't. If she is a witch and she's doing that, it's not working.
He said,
it's not working.
His friend tonight, he said, saying I'm gonna marry her is easy. It's doing it that's the hard part.
Exactly. And that said everything I needed to know. Because I was like, you don't want to marry her, you're here. And he said, I didn't cross the continent just to be a tourist. But he's like, I don't actually want to marry her. That makes me feel like he's here because he wants to be here, not because he wants to be with her. Yeah. That it is what it is.
The green card. How many times am I gonna tell y'all? It's the green card.
Well, now that I know his entire family and even his friends are already here.
I'm telling y'all, he just wants the green card.
His life is in New York. And he's like, oh, I miss my home. I miss my people. I was like, your home and people are all here. All of his family, his friends, everybody's already here. They were waiting on you. Yep. Like, what do you mean you missed them? How do you miss them? They're already here.
Yep. Yeah.
That's his wife. That is his wife.
The aunt?
Me and Carr thinks that is his wife.
Wait, if that aunt is his wife and he marries Ashley, or do you think that he married her in Ecuador?
Yeah.
You can't be married to two people.
Because you can be married in Ecuador and it's not valid in the United States. You get married in the United States and you move to their country, you have to remarry in their country for you to for it to be legal over there. Say for instance, me and you were to get married, but you're from another country.
I'm coming to that wedding. I'm there.
And you're
I got your cake.
George wouldn't be able to handle me for 5 minutes, okay?
Oh,
he knows I'm a hot mess. But what I'm saying is, like, and if you, like, say you were from another country, you were to go back to that country, even though me and you were married here in the United States, it's not valid in your country. It's not legal, or you're not considered married. When you come over here and you're married over there, you're not considered as married.
Just like Angela and Michael. They're not married in the United States. They're married in Nigeria.
Right. And that the K1 visa won't get activated until they get married. Yes. And that'll be a legal standing marriage.
Applying for a K1 visa, that is a fiance visa. If they were legally married in the United States, it would be a spousal visa. Like John and Rachel, they're legally in the UK. It transfers over to the US. So that's why there's this taking longer, because she's applied for the spousal visa, which means as soon as he gets to the US, he can start working. Issued papers immediately.
I see. Man, this is crazy. Oh, so I want to talk about Clayton and Annalie. I think we talked about everybody but them, right? I think so.
Mm-hmm.
So we find out that she's pissed off, you know, obviously from being shamed for not having sex with him. But then they did have a serious conversation about her not telling her dad. You know, he talked to Cameron and he was like, look, I think that it's a red flag that no one knows you exist.
Yeah.
She came all the way to another country. She's living with you. She says she's going to marry you. She's not having sex with you. She's not, you know, she's not the person that she said she was going to be before she got here. And she also is holding you from her family. And I think that he's right. I feel like there's something else, like an agenda going on with Annalie. And the way that she reacted to him asking her to tell her dad, it was really alarming for me. It was a big red flag. I was like, why is she so angry? You know, she was like, and then he was like, well, you know, he said what we always say, like, well, what if they pass away before you tell them? And she's like, oh, so you're wishing death on my dad. Like, she overreacted to everything worse than it was. And it's like, if you really love somebody, you're going to tell your family you're with them, and if they accept it or not, they accept it or not. You know, like if you love somebody, at the end of the day, they're going to either choose you or not. So, and I think it's weird that she would move to another country and not tell her dad, because if she really cares about her dad and loves her dad, because remember Thais did this? Y'all remember Thais? But her dad knew where she was.
Yeah.
She just didn't tell him she was actually marrying Patrick and staying. She told him, I'm going to visit him. That's what she said. She didn't tell him the whole truth. Annalie's dad don't even know where she's at.
Yeah.
But he don't know what she's doing. And I was like, if you really cared about your dad and you loved your dad and you wanted to have that respect for him, you would tell him what the hell you were doing. And I feel like she's doing something shady. We don't know what it is, but she's over here doing something shady. And I feel like maybe her dad does know. He's a part of the plan, so there's no purpose to tell him, you know, but maybe the dad doesn't want to be involved in like the fraudulent part of it, allegedly. So maybe he's like, well, I don't want to have a relationship with the guy you're tricking into getting a green card. I don't want to talk to him, because maybe he has like a conscience that he would feel bad. I don't know what it is. All that's alleged. It's in my mind. My mind just goes crazy. But I just feel like the way that she reacted was a red flag to me. Like the way that, and the fact that she's been there for like a month and they haven't had sex. And I don't know, like when you move to another country and you say you want to be with this person and marry this person and start life with this person, intimacy is part of that. And I feel like she's avoiding it at all costs. He's taken her on trips. He's rented a hotel room. He's given her the opportunity to open up to him intimately, and she doesn't want to. And I mean, she don't owe him nothing. She don't have to give him any. I'm just saying she should want to.
I tell
right?
y'all what I think.
Yeah.
I think she's already married.
You think?
But in another country.
She's already married in her country, and she's got them thinking that she's coming over here for work or something, and but she's actually came over here to get the K1 visa. I mean, she's actually coming over to get her green card. I'm sorry, on the K1 visa. But I think that she's already married. That's why she don't want her family to know anything about him.
That makes a lot of sense.
Oh.
I think she's making her family think that she got a visitor's visa or something like that, or work visa, because she did say that her dad thinks that she came over here to work.
Yeah, she did.
True.
So she probably said that she's coming over on a work visa, and then once she got over here, she could apply for her green card.
Right. But
that's what I'm thinking.
What is she gonna do with her husband though? Is she, because if she's married,
once she gets her green card, she's gonna know how to play her cards right. She can tell
once she get her,
once I get my green card, then I can bring you over here. You're just gonna have to be patient until I can bring you.
But she would have to divorce Clayton first, and then. But how does that work? Would she have to go back home to marry? How does that work?
No.
Because
no.
How does it work? Because
all she's got to
do.
All she's got to do is just claim them. If they have the same last name, then all she's got to do is say that they're a family member.
Oh, and she gonna.
Yeah, but don't you have to be able to sponsor or support? If she marries him, she's stuck living wherever he's living, because she doesn't.
Not necessarily. I mean, you have to be married for 2 years, but you don't have to stay in the same place.
Right. How is she going to support herself?
Oh yeah, I have no idea.
Because as soon as she gets the K1, as soon as K1, I go with the K1 visa again. As soon as she gets the permit, the work visa, she can go to work, and
Well, right,
she
but
should
that
have
takes
that within a couple of months.
up to
That
8 months.
it,
She should at least be a little more like nice and tolerant to Clayton until she gets the work visa, right? I mean, I'm not, because I don't want to sound sexist and say that, oh well, she should be having sex with him just because she shouldn't. A woman shouldn't do anything she doesn't want to do. But it's just really peculiar that she would come over here and pretend she's in love with him and not want to touch him, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like what Igor is doing with Nikki. It's very peculiar. I mean, everybody has their own consent. If you
But
don't
I
want to do
think
anything,
she's already married. I think she is
and
already married.
that's definitely something I'm gonna look.
and she would look at having sex with Clayton as cheating on her husband. Is that what you feel?
Yeah.
So she won't do it.
And once she gets her work visa, she's probably going to want to leave Clayton and start a life on her own. Once she gets her green card, then there's nothing Clayton can do. Once they get married and they file the paperwork, we already know.
Yeah.
Even if he wants to get her deported, they're not going to deport her.
Yep. We learned that from.
She's still going to get her green card.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how do we know she ain't done her investigation to see how far she can get if she gets married? But
Well, she's very
without
educated.
having to be with him.
She's very educated. We saw that she had a college degree. She's very educated. She's a very smart person. So I feel like if she's over here and she has a plan, it's well thought out, right? Like I feel like she has her cards in a row. She knows what she's doing. I just don't know if Clayton is stupid enough to go along with it, because it's like, if you're living with me and we're in a relationship and you won't touch me, I don't know how long that relationship is going to go, only because you should want to.
But,
and if
Clayton keeps putting his own damn foot in his mouth, which is giving her all the excuses in the world. He keeps saying stupid shit, and she's like, oh, that turns me off. Done.
Oh, well, yeah. She's capitalizing on the fact that he has no idea how to handle a woman.
Yes.
And she's capitalizing on that because everything he does is wrong. But it's because he's used to playing video games with dudes. He doesn't know the right way to go about it.
But
he has...
Now, hold on. I have to debunk this theory. Because in the beginning, they said that he met her there.
Yeah.
In Peru.
Right.
So how were they together there? Were they having sex there? That's what he said.
I don't think that they had sex. I don't remember him saying that they had sex in Peru.
He did in the beginning. I'll go back and watch it and tell you what part. But he said when she got there, he said something about, we haven't had sex since we were together in Peru, whatever. I'll go back and watch it at the beginning.
See? Now it makes me wonder if during the process of them long distance dating, she got married.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe she wasn't married to the guy she's married to now, so she didn't have an issue with sleeping with Clayton.
Right.
But now,
I don't know. I think she's always been married.
I don't know.
What's the difference?
I could be wrong, but
I don't know the difference between now and then. If she would do it then, do it now to seal the deal. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you do have to lead him on long enough to get the paperwork filed and everything. Like, I'm not saying...
Yeah, but she could easily tell her husband or whoever, boyfriend, fiance at the time, that she's having to go out of town to go to work.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Wait, Coco, you're right. Coco Puff said he did say he had sex with her in Peru, and we initially thought she wouldn't have sex with him here because of his mom. That is what she told us, because the mom was in the closet. You're absolutely right. Yeah. She did have sex.
Yeah, but how many times? But they're in a rental. Like how many thousands of miles away?
They had the Airbnb, the hotel room that he took her. Remember? Then they went to San Diego to see Cameron. They're in a beautiful rental. All of the tools are there if she wanted to partake.
Yeah, and
we know that she doesn't want to.
Both times he said something stupid.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah, but look at Manuel. Every time Manuel says something stupid, Ashley can't wait to jump on that. Like, so it just depends on the woman, I guess. Every time Manuel opens his mouth and says something stupid, Ashley is just so turned on.
She's ready.
Yeah, she's just ready. She's just ready. Mount him wherever he's at. Like, she's just ready. Anna Lee is just like, every time he opens his mouth, her legs close a little bit more. She's just like, ugh, I just can't stand you. Remember, what was that girl, Rose? Every time Ed tried to say Rose was cute, Rose was like,
every time Ed said Rose was cute, I did that.
Right? She was just like, please stop. Don't. Like, you're making me want to throw up. Stop.
Yeah.
Could not take it. Okay, so I don't disagree with you. I think that it's hard for me, though. The only way it will make sense is if she wasn't married when he was in Peru, but then during the time where he was back in the U.S. and they were separate, she got married. Because I don't know why she's being like super chastity about everything now if she gave it up already. You know, it doesn't ring for me unless she got married in between that time and now she doesn't want to cheat on her husband because she really loves her husband. She just wants the green card. She don't care about Clayton. Then it would make a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I say she's married. And at the time, she was probably married or either maybe fiance or something. I don't know.
Well, now she's...
Oh, Coco. She called him a cow. She said he was sprawled out on the bed like a cow.
No.
Yeah. And that's not something that you usually describe someone that you find attractive. You don't usually say you look like a cow, right? Like, I've never used that word to describe a woman that I thought was beautiful. So I was like, her disgust for him is very, very strong. Like, it reminds me so much of Rose. Like, every time she looks at him, she just looks at him like she's disgusted. Like, I just can't stand you. I can't. Like, she questions how she got here. Like, that's how I feel like her look is. She's, like, looking at her life like, what did I do to end up
right?
Like, that's how I feel.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's something fishy, obviously, because now we're approaching what would be the wedding date. He's dating, getting dance lessons. He's got his best man. He's got this. He's got that. She's packing her shit to get out because we're just close. It's
crazy. It's crazy to me because she's the one that came over and gave everything up, and she's the one that changed her life, and then she gets here and she acts like she doesn't want to be here, and it's like, nobody forced you to come here. You wanted to do this. I don't understand what changed when she got here. It wasn't like, remember we used to watch the show back in the day and they would meet for the first time on the show? Like, it was like they've been talking online. They haven't even met. These people have met. These people have been intimate together. So I don't know what's different from being in Peru to being here. I don't understand what made her change her mind. I mean, I kind of get it. Clayton, I think somebody said he's a dork. He is a dork. He is. You know, like, I get that part. But some women like that. Some women like those gamer dudes, you know, like it's been proven that
not actual women.
Wait, what?
Not actual women.
No, some women really seriously do like dorks, nerds. I've met some. They're turned on by like an accountant or like a guy who plays video games. I don't know the science behind it, but I've met women that were attractive, that were women, and they said that they liked that, and I didn't understand it. I questioned their whole existence, but they said it was true.
Yeah, I'll agree with you.
Nerds, yeah, nerds. Wait, did I say dork? Nerds. Is it okay to say nerds? I don't know what words are okay to say anymore. Because like a lot of we get canceled fast, so I have to watch what I say. Right? I have to watch what I say because sometimes you say the word and you're like, oh wait, can't say that word anymore. I have to find a different way.
Look at us striking. Look at you're just striking out.
Right? Oh wait, she aimed for a lonely gaming guy. He's an easy target. Wait. See, Coco, that might actually be true.
Did you see that?
What?
Miss Nomadic is also an accountant.
Are you kidding me? Please don't cast a spell on me. I am so sorry. I don't know how this is even possible. I'm sorry. I didn't know you were a witch, and I did not know you were an accountant. I am not picking on you. I swear. I didn't know.
I mean, her screen name is Miss Nomadic Accountant.
Oh, yeah. That's my fault. That's my fault. It's right there. Yeah, I'm batting 0. See, this is why I don't play baseball. I'm batting 0. You're right. This is completely my fault.
I love accountants. I think they're the best.
Right. Being good with numbers, I'm like a numbers nerd. So I'm obsessed with numbers. Like, I do spreadsheets. Like, I'm a numbers person. I love how numbers always equal. Like, you always can get the answer. It's like it's hard to explain. I don't want to get too nerdy on y'all, but like, I really do. I'm a big math person. Like, when it comes to, you can give me any type of math, taxes, interest, agreements, whatever. I'm all over that stuff. Absolutely.
She'll cast a spell and do your taxes.
Right? Can the spell be I don't have to pay taxes?
Oh my god.
That would be even better.
That's a really good spell.
Yeah, can I get that one? Because I don't want to pay them anymore. They're high. Okay, guys. So
yeah, we need a good spell where we get like hundreds and thousands of dollars back this year.
Can I get like an unexpected refund? That would be nice.
Yeah.
Like that spell would be nice. All right, guys. So tomorrow we're gonna come back. So tomorrow, Single Life episode 2 and 90 Day Diaries episode 1. So we get 1 hour of the Single Life tomorrow, 1 hour of 90 Day Diaries. So we're gonna come back tomorrow afterward. We can probably knock them out both in one live. We're gonna try to do this, and then wait, that's it, right? Because everything else ended.
Everything.
Yeah, so that's
gone.
it. Oh yeah, so that's it. Oh, there's a new show. It was called like Love in Translation. I don't know if you guys saw that, but it's gonna be starting, and it's about people who are dating women or men who are in another country and they have no language.
No, so what it is there's a bunch of women that speak not a lick of English, and there's 3 American men, and they only speak English.
And so 3 men and then a bunch of women. Do they get to pick the woman they want to date? Oh, this sounds good. Yeah, so we'll probably be watching that too. I'm excited. And this week, we're gonna do the 90-day trivia game. We were supposed to do it last week, but it was too busy. But we're gonna do it this week. I'm shooting for Thursday. So I'm gonna post a story and make a video and everything so everyone knows what's going on, and then hopefully all of you guys can join me, please fingers crossed, for the 90-day trivia game. There's going to be lots of cool prizes. There's going to be a lot of fun trivia questions. So if you've been watching 90 Days since the first season like me, you're probably going to know all of this, but if not, it'll be fun to just catch up, because we're doing lots of different categories, but one of the categories is OGs, so we're going all the way back to the beginning. So I know a lot of times
great, because we've all watched from the beginning.
Yeah,
but
I feel like we all have, right? And I know there's some COVID
we all
people.
Have, but if you bring up somebody from season 1, it's going to take me a minute to think about it.
Yeah,
so
I think
that's
going to be the fun part about it. Figuring out who the people are from season 1, because you have to remember back then, a lot of the people weren't on social media,
right?
So they didn't stay around like the people do now. So it was really fun coming up with the questions and looking up. Oh, and there's a catchphrase one. So if you know the catchphrases of your favorite 90-dayers, you know, this is going to be a lot of fun. All right, guys. So follow my co-hosts, Cara and Didi, or should I say Didi and Didi. They're tagged in this video. And make sure you're following me on all social media platforms at George Mossey, georgemossey.com. Anywhere you get your podcast, type in The George Mossey Show. I have a story on georgemossey.com under my blog. It was the person who Natalie was living with when she lived in Florida. They reached out to me, and I wrote a story about it. If you want to know all of the craziness that went on while she was in Florida, you're going to want to check out that article. It's on my website right now. Thank you for joining us tonight. Make sure you tune in tomorrow so we can discuss the Single Life and 90-Day Diaries. Kim was burning stuff on there, so we'll get to watch that. All right, guys. Talk to you guys tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.